Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to a quick episode of B is for Bill. I'm going to take you along with me on the day today. We are heading to the shop. I got literally a truck full of performance parts. I'm going to unload them at the shop, and I want to talk to you guys about what we're doing for our stage 1 power upgrades for the 2JZ and our path to 500 horsepower. Stay tuned. Before I get started unpacking, I just want to take a brief second to say that my thoughts are with everybody out there in Texas right now that's dealing with this hurricane. I hope everybody's doing okay out there. I had the pleasure of coming to that great state just a couple months ago for a car meet. You guys were all awesome, and I know people came from the surrounding areas, and I just hope everybody's doing okay, and just want to let everyone know that our thoughts are with you guys, and we hope that you get through this okay. All right, let's start unpacking. All right, well there you have it. We are unpacked. These are the goodies that it takes to get to 500 horsepower. Obviously, when you're trying to boost the power of an engine, the idea is that you add more air and more fuel, and then that gets bigger bangs. So let me walk you through the exact plan of how we're gonna do this and the parts that I got. Before I jump into this too far, I just want to thank CX Racing. They really made this possible. You're seeing their manifold, their downpipe, their external wastegate, and a bunch of other things of theirs are going to go on the car over the next few days, and they really made this conversion possible. So huge thanks to them. I have a link in the description. Go check it out. They provide, they create and fabricate these awesome swap parts for so many different applications. So if you have a car and you're interested in, like, you know, can I put this engine in it or whatever, check out their website, and they probably have a product for you. So huge thanks to them for hooking us up. Definitely a big hookup. So let's go ahead and get started with air. So how are we going to get more air? Well, the turbos on the BRZ right now, the 2Js, can only go up to about 18 PSI safely. So we got to upgrade the turbocharger, and that's why we're going single turbo. So this is a Garrett turbocharger. I always forget the number, the model number of it. Let me see. So this is the Garrett GT35 82R, which is what I always forget, ball bearing turbo. And it's at a 70 trim. You can see it's kind of like right there. And I bought this used from a guy that just pulled it off his car over at PRE. So this was a great find, and when this came up, I was like, okay, this is a sign, I gotta get this. Great price too, so that's a sign, I gotta get this. Now this thing can push up to, I believe it's like between 500 and 600 horsepower. I think it's rated good for 600 horsepower. So that's exactly what we're looking for. You know, not too overkill, not 1,000 horsepower turbo, 600. That's perfect. So then to go single turbo, we need things like a new exhaust manifold. That's what CX Racing hooked us up with. They have this thick walled exhaust manifold, and this is obviously, you know, this side is going to bolt up to the engine block. This side bolts down to the turbo right there. It has an external wastegate, which is this massive thing that CX Racing also hooked us up with. This is just, I never knew how big these were. So that attaches to there. So what this means is we're able to really simplify our turbo setup. When before we had all these vacuum lines running everywhere into these different things, these different pressure tanks and all these sensors and all this crap going everywhere, which I don't recommend, but I guess if you're on a budget and you can make it work, then you can make it work. I mean, mine does work to a certain extent, but after that, I feel like that's part of the product that might be failing us. So obviously this simplifies everything, because now our wastegate's right there. It just works off the pressure right there. There's no outside forces talking to it or messing with it or computers in the way. That's it. That's a wrap. We will put the boost gauge, or not the boost gauge, but the boost controller, the electronic boost controller on there, and that will tell it when to open and when to close. So that's pretty awesome. Simplifies that. So to cool our turbocharger, this is an oil and water turbocharger. So we have oil and water lines right here. Those will have to be plumbed. A little bit of modification will be needed from the standard 2J setup, because it has 2 turbos that do oil and water. So we're taking that down to 1, and I've been told that's all I need to do that. So air going in, air getting compressed, getting thrown into the engine, good. Air going out is this awesome downpipe setup that CX Racing sent us. So that's what it is. It's just the CX Racing 2JZ downpipe for the BRZ. So that's awesome. I may remake our transmission brackets to get more room for the downpipe if we need to. We'll see how those go when I get them hooked up. But They look pretty. I don't want to screw them up like the other ones. I didn't really screw up the other ones. I just got a dent in one of them because we didn't have enough. Screamer pipe goes on the outside of the wastegate. So when the wastegate opens up and we bypass, it'll go straight to atmosphere. It'll be awesome and loud. So that is air. That's how we're going to suck in more air, compress it, and bing, blang, blow. Let me see if I can find the, this piece. This piece, you filthy animals. It was this piece. I was just, this is over in the box. Over in that box, there's still a lot more goodies. But this is the actual intake piece where the MAF will go and the air filter will go on this side. And then this side will go into that goodness. So it's another piece that goes on the air side. Awesome. Okay, so you have to add more air and you got to add more fuel. How do you do that? Well, you need to upgrade the fuel pump from stock. And this is just a representation fuel pump because that's actually the old Mustang fuel pump. But what we did was earlier in the build, you guys will remember, I put a Walbro 450 liter per hour fuel pump that is E85 approved. And here we have the other way. So fuel pump is going to allow more fuel to get to the system. To squirt more fuel into your engine, you need bigger injectors. So what would have happened is if we put this thing on there and we got to boost and we got up to higher PSI, so we're compressing more air, the car would tell it that it needs more fuel. And although it's not really a problem on the car right now, once we got to around 400 horsepower, maybe 450, the injectors wouldn't be able to spray enough fuel to keep the engine and air fuel ratio happy. So you have to get bigger injectors. So these are 550 cc injectors, and they are high impedance, meaning that they are going to work straight away with the JDM ECU. If the USDM ones are low impedance, and then you have to get a resistor. So we went with the high impedance 550 cc injectors, and they have these little pigtails on them in case we need to do a conversion. I'm not sure if we will, but they're ready to roll. So these are essentially made for the motor that I have. And so the rule of thumb that Trevor over at Auto Motion TV told me is that basically you could take the CC of the injector, and a rule of thumb on the 2J motor is that will equal your horsepower potential. So if you have a 440 cc injector, which is what the car came with stock, you're probably limited to 440 horsepower. These 550, we should be able to get to our 500 wheels. Good there. So now if we add more air and we add more fuel, the computer won't understand how to deal with the more fuel. That's a problem. So how do we do that? We're going to do that with a piggyback ECU, and that's this last little trick piece down here. This is I don't know how you pronounce that name, Apex? Is it just Apex? Is the I silent? All right. Anyways, I apologize. The representatives from said company have never told me how to say the name, nor ever talked to me. Anyways, I bought this on eBay. This is a used little jobber, and it's the SAFC2. And what that stands for is the Super Airflow Converter. Or some people just call them the air controllers. What this does is this will modify the signal of MAF goes in here. It's going to send a signal to the car about how much air is going through, and this is going to modify that signal to tell it different things so it will correctly work with our larger injectors. Because basically if we did it the other way, the car would always be spitting out too much fuel because it has too large of an injector. So we're basically going to tell it that it's getting, I can't think right now, more or less air, which will equal it out. So this is essentially a piggyback ECU that will allow us to tune the car just a little bit. It'll allow us just to tune the air-fuel ratios by modifying the air count. And that will get us, that will be able to counter, this will be able to counter the larger injectors. The other thing that it'll be able to do is, the problem that we have right now is that we're running too rich. We got too much fuel coming in the car. We could potentially just plug this thing in and dial back our fuel a little bit, and that could fix the whole thing. But again, the setup that we have right now is only good for potentially 400 horsepower, but then the turbos are going to be at their very, very worst. They're going to be stressed all the way out, and they could potentially blow up and harm my engine, which is why I got the better turbo. So there we have it. That's the stuff. This is easily over $2,000 in parts that it costs to do the single turbo upgrade. This is the cheapest way I think I know how to do a single turbo upgrade. If you want to try and get over the 400 horsepower, if you want to get past what the stock injectors can do. The stock injectors are your limiting point after you go single turbo. So Trevor over at Motion Auto, he's got that turbo, he's got the exact same one, and he's got that exact same manifold on his car right now, and you're not going to get past the injectors. So my injectors should be able to push me about a whole another 100 horsepower more, but to run those, you got to run that. I do believe this is the cheapest way to do it, but like I said, this is easily $2,000 in parts. The turbocharger alone cost me $700, and you can do the math on the rest. So that's why I was a little hesitant to do it right off the bat, but since we are having problems with the stock setup, it's time to do it. Also, we weren't getting the horsepowers that I was told by internet people that I was gonna get. So I need that more horsepower. So that's the game plan. I think that's all I have for car related stuff at the moment. But I'm doing some other fun stuff. If you guys wanna come along, I'm gonna bring you along. If you guys aren't interested, go ahead and tune out now. I'll see you in a couple days when the video comes out and we start going ahead and installing those. But for the rest of the time, I got some fun stuff going on. So I'm gonna bring you guys along. Let's go. Just made a quick drive downtown to get my buddy Jesse, who you guys may remember from episode 3 of the Apocalypse build. Maybe not episode 3. I'm illegally parked, so it's time to go. When we accidentally turned it into a GTR, we're gonna go get some beers, get some wings. I'm in the mood for some hot food for some reason. Not a normal thing for me, but I really want some spice. And we're gonna talk software. Best wing spot in Portland is Fire on the Mountain, which you can kind of see over there. I'm going hard. I got my wings, and then I got all the hottest sauces that they make. This is the raspberry habanero, the El Jefe, the Thai hot, and the extra hot is right here. They accidentally gave me a peanut one. I'm not a child. I'm not going peanut. So while we talk tech, Jesse and I have been talking about an app for 6 months or so. It's an idea that I had a while back, and we've been talking it through, and we're deciding right now whether or not we're going to invest the time and the money to go ahead and develop and launch, or if we're not, or if we're gonna keep kicking the idea down the street a little bit. So while we talk tech and investments, I'm going to eat some ridiculously hot wings. I've gone through all their hottest sauces so far, except for the El Jefe. It's the last one left. I've only got 2 wings left. These aren't as hot as I remembered. I'm a little bit let down right now. A little bit. They have an El Jefe challenge where if you can do 15 wings in 3 minutes, you get your picture on the wall, but I just wasn't that hungry. I might have to come back. Okay, I changed my mind. The El Jefe, it's the only really hot one, but it's hot. It's hot enough.
It's hot. It's damn hot.
I'm so lightheaded. Got through the El Jefe. Cheers. I was having too much fun, so I got another order of wings. But they put the hot sauce on them already, so now I'm going hot on other flavors of hot. You guys probably don't care too much more about wing details. Let's talk more about the software idea. So Jesse and I have decided that we are going to continue, and we're going to full on develop the app, and we're going to, we're going to make it a thing. I've thought about making another YouTube series, whole different channel and everything. Sorry, the hotness is coming up. About what it means to start a new company and build a new application. That's actually something that I know about. I know exactly what I'm doing when I do that type of stuff. I've been around the block quite a few times with that. I have a background as a software engineer, and I own and have owned for a long time my own software company. And this is just the next venture into it, so I'm really stoked. We're gonna light up a new LLC and really we're gonna go full throttle on this. This is actually an interesting application though, because we're not aiming for the small time, we're definitely aiming for the big time. Because if it was small time stuff, I just wouldn't even bother. I'd rather focus on the YouTube channel and the bees we're building. Shout out to H3H3. All right, anyways, it's been a good dinner. Fantastic wing sesh. Heading out to get a proper drink before we call it a night. Going to East Burn, if anybody cares. East Burn. The fuck? Got something stuck in my shoe. Oh my god, this was stuck in my shoe. Only in Portland. What is that? Oh, that's a fancy lady. Anyways, going to East Burn to get some proper drinks before we call it a night. Nothing like a good drink after dinner to really set it off. It's
still hot out here.
Dude, it's so hot today. So hot. Check out this sunset. No real good shot of that sunset. Oregon's in a really interesting spot because we're just surrounded by forest fires, like terrible natural like forest fires from lightning strikes right now. So we're looking smoggy like LA, but we didn't earn it. It's nature's fault. Got back home doing my thing. This is where we're gonna wrap up. We are streaming right now on Twitch. B is for Build on Twitch. If you guys are interested, check it out. I stream with TJ and Calvin a lot. We've been doing a lot of group stream, which is really fun. I've been playing a lot of PUBG if you guys are interested. I also play a little bit of Counter-Strike here and there, but I've been Counter-Strike for like 7, 8, 10 years, but PUBG is the new thing and it's a lot of fun. So that's it. That's it for the night. Let me take this up. That's it for the rest of the night. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are excited for the new power upgrades. We're going 500 horsepower. I'm super stoked about it, and I'm gonna get started tomorrow. And I'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Find our merch at bsforbuild.com. Find us on all social media outlets, including Twitch at bsforbuild. Peace.